Yeah.
You probably like them circus people.
Can't be that one.
No.
I figure it's probably
No.
in the roundabout, but the first
No.
It could be.
My daddy liked
first lot in behind that.
And he liked orange slices too. I like the orange slices. They're sweet.
Well, he said that he's sitting there. Just a black sheet, I can tell the job is.
Let the record show it's 6 o'clock. We have a quorum present. Could I please have the roll call?
Andy Gokenauer.
Here.
Linda Barnhart.
Present.
Peter Paul.
Here.
Buchanan Morton.
Present.
Kevin Lewis.
Present.
Daniel Gant.
Here.
Nick Deal.
Okay. The first item is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goff to approve, second by Mr. Gant. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. The next thing we have is the open governmental process, which is known as the Sunshine Law. Did anybody sign in to speak? No? Okay, let the record show that there's none present for that. The next item is approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second Mr. Gant to approve the meeting minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The meeting minutes are approved. We will begin our public hearings. We have 4 of them. The first one is Windmeyer Estates.
The first public hearing tonight is a request for final plat approval. The project is Windmeyer Estates, Section 1, Phase 1, lots 1 through 11 and 82 through 87. The file is 2112-443, and the developer is Windmeyer Estates LLC. The engineer is Integrity Federal Services. It's located in the Mill Creek District, tax map 9, parcel 47.9, and tax map 13, parcels 100, 101, and 102. The site's located on the west side of Winchester Avenue, approximately a quarter mile south of Runnymede Road. This final plat proposes 17 townhome lots on 3.2 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends final plat approval contingent upon receipt of a surety in the amount of $640,296 even. Plat to be released upon receipt of the surety and developer's agreement.
Do we have anyone to represent the project this evening?
Chad Wallen, Integrity Engineers.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. If you have questions or comments regarding this project, this is your opportunity to make those known.
Move public hearing be closed.
Second.
Let the record show that there is no comments from the public. Have a motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Gant to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, how about you? Do you have questions of Mr. Wallen or the staff?
Hearing no questions, ma'am, I make a motion that we accept staff recommendation for final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in amount of $640,296. Plat to be released upon receipt of surety and developer's agreement.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Gokenauer, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant final plat approval pending receipt of surety in the amount of $640,296. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. The next item for public hearing is Dollar General, Georgetown.
Yes, this is a public hearing for request for waiver. The project is Dollar General, Georgetown. The file is 2203-080, tied to 2112-452. The developer is Cross Development LLC, and the engineer is Tectonics Design Group. It's located in the Mill Creek District, tax map 5, parcel 16, and is located on the southwesterly side of Georgetown Road at the west corner of Everett Drive, and approximately 400 feet east of Bentley Drive, and approximately half a mile west of the intersection of Georgetown Road with Interstate I-81. The developer is proposing a 10,640 square foot Dollar General on approximately 2.4 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The developer is requesting the following waivers to the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance, Section 802.1.b.ia, which requires a 25-foot buffer with screening between commercial and residential uses, and Section 801, Table 8-1B, subsection 16.b, which requires one parking space for every 275 square feet of gross floor area. The applicant is currently proposing one parking space for every 425 square foot of gross floor area. In the past, engineering and planning staff has recommended approval of waiver requests to Section 801, Table 8-1B, subsection 16.b, to allow for a minimum of 2.65 spaces per 1,000 square feet of gross floor area, or one space per 380 square feet of commercial floor area, in accordance with national standards or the ITE manual. The site as proposed would not meet the national standards ITE, as 28 parking spaces would be required and only 23 parking spaces are proposed. That being said, engineering and planning staff recommends denial of the waiver request to Section 801, Table 8-1B, subsection 16.b, which requires one parking space for every 275 square feet of gross floor area, and Section 802.1.b.i.a, which requires a 25-foot buffer with screening between the commercial and residential uses.
It's quite a mouthful. Okay, do we have anyone here to represent the project?
My name is Chris Ziegelmeyer with Cross Development.
I'm sorry, your first name?
Chris Ziegelmeyer.
Okay, this is a public hearing. If you have questions or comments regarding this project, now's your opportunity to make those known. Please come forward, state your name, your address, and any comments you might have.
Okay, my name is Hilton Bateman. I am the property owner of 3974 Georgetown Road, just to the west of the proposed Dollar General site. Chris and I have talked a number of times. He's asked for my formal support for this particular project, but the waiver that requires 25 feet from my property versus 15 feet is unsatisfactory. I do not particularly enjoy the fact that out of my master bedroom I would be looking at a blue Dollar General roof. And Chris, although he's promised me that he would build me the most gorgeous screen between my property and the Dollar General, this is just not acceptable to me, so I would ask the commission not to approve this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak regarding this project?
Preston Miller, 280 Wiltshire Circle, Inwood, West Virginia. I own the property to the left of that. My road is going to run right beside that dollar store. I just don't think it's ready for that. Nobody has came to me and asked what they're going to do for us as the park, because we own Everett Road. So I recommend we don't put it in there. It's just going to cause the lights and all that. It's just not good for where I'm at.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Mike Bush, 1192 Horner Sawmill Road, Georgetown, West Virginia. Request denial of both waiver requests. This is the exact type of square peg in a round hole analysis that planning regulations were intended to prohibit. Insufficient parking will only make vehicle and pedestrian concerns along a very busy road worse. And encroaching upon these buffers eliminates barriers necessary that will screen and maintain safety around a commercial structure. Commercial loading and unloading, trash pickup, lighting concerns, and traffic encroaching into a well-established neighborhood area. So the structure and use are proposed are not fit for this lot, and the result of improper implementation will result in annoyance, safety concerns, and unacceptable deviation from established planning regulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam Jackson. I live at 39 Everett Drive. Their building that they're talking about putting up will be directly across from where I'm located, where I live. And first off, I don't see the layout making It's just not going to work. The lack of parking, those people are still going to come shop there, even though there's a lack of parking. Where are they going to park at? They're going to park over next to my house. There's nowhere else to park. That's what people do. If you look at future projects in the area, there are a lot of houses coming up. Lack of parking is not what we need anywhere. We might have, Georgetown's kind of small and we've got a little store, but they're developing. They're putting in residential that's going to bring more people that are going to go to that dollar store. And where are they going to park? My kids are there, 18-wheelers, deliveries. How are you going to turn around in that layout and have it make sense? Me personally, I'm completely against it.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Liz Grant. I live at 1192 Cornerstone Road. And I'm here today to just express my request that the Planning Commission deny these requests for waivers. The Planning Commission has rules for a reason, and 25 feet for screening between commercial and residential isn't much to ask. And the parking rules are to ensure adequate parking to protect the safety and health of residents. And I just don't see how this project outweighs any reason to deviate from the established rules. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak regarding this project?
If there's nobody else, I'll move to close public hearing.
Okay, let the record show that there is no other person to speak, and I have a motion from Mr. Goff, and I think I heard a second from Mr.
Yes,
Gokenhour to close public hearing. Excuse me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, now it's your turn to ask questions.
This might be a question for Doug more than it is for Tectonics, but why would the Department of Highway not require a traffic study being that close to the 81 intersection?
They did not require one as they didn't see the AET above their trigger to do the traffic study here. They did originally ask there were some comments thrown out originally before the permit that they were looking for the 85th percentile speed of the roadway, which we all know that in the studies that we've done, they are running higher than the posted speed limits, but nothing ever came to pass from DOH.
Okay, thanks.
Did they give a letter saying that one was not required? Or did they just not respond?
Yeah,
They got an email.
Yeah, it was in an email that Larry sent out that they weren't requiring a formal traffic study, and they're gonna put conditions on it for the driveway entrance.
Okay, for the public, Larry.
There you go.
Larry is DOH's District 5's entrance.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Reviewer.
Well, I want the people to know who Larry is. Larry Alt, who is the District 5 manager.
I'm not sure of his title, but he reviews all of the entrance permits for District 5, which is our district. He determines if it needs to be kicked to Charleston, which it wasn't for a traffic study, so.
Okay. All right, just so we'd have.
There was some initial list of comments that came in, and the next thing we saw was they were going ahead with the entrance permit to a degree. They didn't say they were giving it, but the indications were that the traffic study was off the table.
Okay. Additional questions from us, Planning Commission members?
You ready for a motion?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I'll make a motion that we accept staff recommendation for denial of the waiver request.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to deny the waiver. Are you denying both waivers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That would be both waivers for the screening and the parking. Yes, sorry, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion can't pass. Okay. The next item for public hearing is Dunkin Donuts, Inwood.
This is also a public hearing for a request for waiver. The project is Dunkin Donuts Inwood, file 2203-090, tied to 2110-393. The developer is Nick Patel and the engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Mill Creek District, tax map 6, parcel 4, and is located on the north side of Georgetown Road, approximately 900 feet east of Interstate 81. This project proposes a 2,051 square foot Dunkin Donuts with an additional 2,000 square feet of retail space on approximately 2.58 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The developer is requesting a waiver to Section 801, Table 8-1B, Category 15A, Restaurant with Seating of the subdivision ordinance. That section requires one parking space for every 50 square feet of gross floor area or one space for every 2 persons allowed within maximum occupancy, whichever is less. Engineering and planning staff recommends approval based on prior waivers for similar retail and restaurant drive-through uses or a minimum shared parking ratio of 5.1 spaces per 1,000 square feet of gross floor area in accordance with the ITE Land Use 820. The drive-through lane shall have 8 stacking spaces for the drive-through window with a minimum of 5 of these being for the ordering station. Such spaces shall be designed to not impede pedestrian or vehicle circulation on the site or abutting street. This calculation would require 20 parking spaces, and the developer is proposing 37 parking spaces.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Gordon Hoffenberg, Fox and Associates.
Thank you, Mr. Poffenberger. This is a public hearing. If you have questions or comments regarding this project, now's your opportunity to make those known to this panel.
Seeing no comments from the public now, I make a motion for public hearing to close.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff, to close public hearing as no comments from the public are being received. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Did I hear you? Agree?
said aye.
Oh, okay. I thought you were grumbling about something. Sounds like you might be a little hoarse tonight. Okay, planning commission members, do you have questions or comments regarding this project?
I'm just looking, there's 2 separate entrance and exits on this property. Is that what I'm seeing there?
There's an entrance only, and then there's a full movement access.
Okay, so I guess the one further to the east is that the entrance only there? Because I mean, yes, I know they're doing a lot of improvements up through there right now, and hopefully, when it's all done, it'll be nice. But
Yeah, full movement and entrance only.
okay, so what you would call full movement, is that right turn only, or is that?
It's right in, that's right in, left out.
Okay.
Full.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
There is a lot, just so you know, sir, and full disclosure, because of the 1.4 million square foot warehouse that's going in behind here. There is a lot of discussion about this road where it comes out onto 51, as well as the width of this road and the traffic. So there were a lot of comments that were generated by DOH that's still ongoing with that traffic study. So, for your information.
Yeah, I'm hoping that with the improvements that are being made, that these things can be accommodated.
I believe it's supposed to be lined up with the one proposed roundabout at that location.
Right.
So instead of a traffic light, it would be a roundabout on Georgetown Road that this would come out to.
There was some question as to whether a right in, right out there at 51 was, it looks like DOH, excuse me, is wanting a full access intersection there. which we kind of thought, was correct as well. But they're still ongoing with that, so I can't really any more further than that, other than to say this is all, a little bit in a state of flux.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Additional questions, please?
There are no further questions. I make a motion we accept staff recommendations for approval based on pie waivers of similar retail restaurants for minimum parking share ratios.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Goff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passed. The next item for public hearing is Waterfall Farm Estates.
Yes, this is a public hearing for a request for sketch plan advancement. The project is Waterfall Farm Estates. The file is 2108-299. The developer is Trimbar LLC, and the engineer is Dennis E. Black Engineering, Inc. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 17, parcel 40, and is adjacent to the mouth of the Peckin Road at its southern terminus of Brown Road. This project proposes 29 single-family lots on approximately 75 acres to be served by private well and septic. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On April 13th, 2022, the developer submitted a request to remove this project from consideration of sketch plan advancement. Section 709B of the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance states when a proposed development is within 1,000 feet of an existing public sanitary sewer system, connections to the public sanitary system sewers shall be provided to all lots within the proposed development in accordance with state law and regulations, if available and acceptable. Since public sewer is approximately 350 feet from the site, the developer intends to revise and resubmit the sketch plan proposing private well and public sewer utilities. And just to preface that, it would have to be re-advertised and come back before you guys for approval with those revisions.
For another public hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's a public hearing. Questions or comments, please?
Move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Do we have a representative for it? No representative here? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Goff and a second by Mr. Gant to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, are you ready to give me a motion then?
I have a question first, please. Will this come back as a totally new project, or?
So they're going to resubmit under the same name and under the same file, but since they're going to change their utilities, it has to be re-advertised for another public hearing before it can get sketch plan approval. So it'll come back through as the same. They just need to change their utilities and show sewer connections.
I think his question though, is it gonna be more than 29 lots? Or
That's not what he's told us. He told us it'll be 29 lots still, but we haven't seen anything, right?
With sewer, he could get a little bit.
I was gonna say, I would think that he would change his lot density.
That's what we thought as well, but he told us explicitly in an email that he wouldn't be changing his lot count, but that's to be determined, I guess.
I mean, he can't go too far. He's got way too many wetlands in the
He's got floodplain.
floodplain. He's definitely
Got floodplain.
limited. He doesn't want to, I mean, just my initial thing is they didn't want to build the infrastructure. So I would think that this layout will be very similar.
Further questions?
I don't think so.
No more questions. I'll make the motion to accept
You have
staff
a question?
recommendations and advance the sketch plan.
Second.
Okay, there are no further questions, right?
Right.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Gant, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation. All those in favor? Opposed?
Can
Motion,
I clarify one thing? We actually didn't have a staff recommendation because they were just asking to be pulled off the agenda. So we kind of left it up to you guys to make a motion to pull it off or to leave it on. But I don't think at this point we were recommending advancement of the sketch by any means.
That's correct, that's correct.
okay, so this staff recommendation is not a staff recommendation.
It's more of a statement. He gave us on the 13th a letter to pull it off the agenda. We had to put it on the agenda because it was advertised
Oh,
for.
okay, all right, that makes sense,
You
okay.
didn't want to pull it without having you say,
Okay, so then
So you.
can we revise the planning commission's recommendation?
You would make a new motion to pull it off?
Yes.
All right, I'll make the motion. We, accept staff recommendation to remove the project from the sketch plan.
Okay. Same people, Mr. Gant and Mr. Goff are making a recommendation to remove the project from the planning commission's agenda at this time, and it will be presented under another public hearing at a later date. How's that? That work okay for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That's put to bed. Okay, now we're moving on to the preliminary plan approval for Falling Waters Industrial Center.
Yes, this is a request for preliminary plan approval. The project is Falling Waters Industrial Center, Lot 6C. The file number is 2112-433. The developer is Rental Properties Incorporated. The engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, map 14, parcel 11.16. This project is located on the northeast corner of the intersection of Langston Boulevard and Lansdale Court. The developer is proposing the construction of a 14,875 square foot warehouse office space, axe toss, and brewery with an additional 2,040 square foot outdoor patio. The site is 2.13 acres and will be served by public water and sewer. At the September 7th, 2021 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Section 801, Table 8-1A, off-street parking of the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance 2009, requiring 91 parking spaces based on the mixed use of warehouse, office, future axe toss, and brewery patio. The approval was conditional upon adding 10 parking spaces to equal 78 parking spaces in total. On April 7, 2022, the county engineer, Doug Smith, issued a letter of approval stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was complete and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. The preliminary plan meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the preliminary plan.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
I need to recuse for this project and the next one.
Okay, let the record show that Mr. Gann is recusing from Falling Waters Industrial Center and Harvest Glen, which is about our next project.
Gordon Poffer with Fox and Associates.
Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have a question?
Hearing none, ma'am, I make a motion that we accept staff recommendation and proceed to approve a preliminary plan.
I have a motion from Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff to accept staff recommendation, and that is to approve the preliminary plan. We still have a quorum, right, with him gone? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. The next item is final plat determination, Harvest Glen. And let the record show that Mr. Gant is still recused.
Yes, this is a request for final plat determination. The project is Harvest Glen, Section 1, Phase 1, Lots 2, 11 through 25, 32, Open Space 1 and 2, Residue Parcel A. The file number is 2007-078. The developer is Panhandle Homes of Berkeley County. The engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Opequon District, map 10, parcel 28. The site is located on Vicksburg Court and Creasy Way. This phase proposes 17 single-family lots on approximately 12.43 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers have been requested for this section. County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter on April 6, 2022, stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was complete and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the May 16, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Morgan Hoffman, Fox and Associates.
Thank you. Planning Commission members, questions of Mr. Poffenberger or of the staff?
Hearing no question, I'll make a motion that we accept staff recommendation, final plat determination, and advertise for public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the May 16, 2022 Planning Commission.
Have a motion from Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to move the final plat forward for a public hearing on May 16th, 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
The next item, somebody want to get Mr. Gant, bring him back? The next item is Red Hill, Section 1.
Yes, this is a request for final plat determination. The project is Red Hill, Section 1, Phase 11, lots 65 through 79, 112 through 139, 178 through 190, and 338 through 345. The file number is 2201-014. The developer is Phil Kogar Investments. The surveyor is Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Hedgesville Tax District, map 28, parcel 46. The project is located on Ridge Road South, West Virginia Route 4, approximately a half a mile from its intersection with Hedgesville Road. The final plat proposes the development of 64 single-family lots on approximately 15 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested for this phase. The county engineer, Doug Smith, issued a letter on March 23, 2022, stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was complete and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the May 16, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening. Mike Roberts, representing the project.
Okay. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Roberts or the staff?
There are no questions. I'll make the motion to accept staff recommendation for the public hearing, consideration of final plat approval on May 16th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Have a motion from Mr. Gant, second from Mr. Gokenhour, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to grant final plat approval at a May 16, 2022 Planning Commission meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is Communities of Burwell.
Yes, this is a request for final plat determination. The project is Communities of Burwell, Phase 9, lots J19 through J43, and L21 through L38. The file number is 2112-445. The developer is Burwell Properties, LLC. The engineer is Robert Land Surveying. It's located in the Falling Waters District, map 13, parcel 10.4. The site is located at Secondary Route 8, 1 mile from Nighttown Road, and intersection with Secondary Route 1107. This phase proposes 43 townhome lots on approximately 6.57 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers have been requested for this section. County Engineer Doug Smith issued a letter on April 14, 2022, stating that a review of the above-mentioned project was complete and found to be in compliance with the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of public hearing, consideration of final plat approval at the May 16, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Yes, Mike Roberts, representing the project.
Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Roberts?
Hearing none, ma'am. Make a motion, we accept staff recommendation, final plat determination as advertised for public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at May 16th, 2022 Planning Commission.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Gant, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to consider final plat approval at a public hearing on May 16th of 2022. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Mr. Roberts, approximately how much acreage is left there for them to continue to develop? I knew it was a rather large subdivision.
Just off the top of my head, it's probably somewhere 85 to 90 acres.
I was gonna say 100.
185 acres or lots?
Acres.
It might need its own zip code. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our agenda items other than staff, council, discussion, action, and motion. Anything from you, Mr. Legal?
Nothing for me.
How about you, Mr. Engineer?
No, ma'am, nothing. for
How
me.
about you, Mrs. Planning Lady? Ladies? No?
Not today.
Okay.
Now move.
Let the record
Well, I
show.
just have a question for
Oh,
Doug.
wait a minute, wait.
When they come back with this Dollar General, which we all know they will,
I don't think they will.
I don't know how.
you don't think they
can.
I
will?
don't know how they can.
It won't fit.
It doesn't fit.
Well, but if they shrunk the size of the building
Building
down,
down.
Yeah,
because
but they
Hey,
can't.
that's the smallest building they
That's
have,
the
I think.
smallest proto they have, and they wouldn't, it just wouldn't, they'd be small, they'd be like a sheets to fit on there.
That's
I was
the
just
same
wondering if
size
we could-
building they've put everywhere else lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the one that they were originally talking about on 51 was only 9,000
No,
square.
it was 10.
Was it 10?
I went,
It was the
I went
exact
back
same
and checked
footprint.
because the parking thing that I used, you know,
On the opposite side of 51.
on all of them. they
I was just
all
gonna
asked for it.
ask if there was a way we could suggest a traffic study. Because I mean, that 51 is the same as the other side of 51.
I
A
could
lot of
do
traffic
as
go
we-
across that
I could
mountain.
do as we did for the one out on 45 and suggest that to the state, but
Mhm.
I'm afraid that that's already kind of cooked. When I saw Larry's letter, I mean, quite frankly, I took it as that game was over.
Mhm.
But I can certainly, you know, look into it. I just don't see how they would come back at this point. I
Okay.
just don't. They don't have the,
Suits me just fine.
just the buffers alone shrunk the site down, and they were having issues. They met with us already once. They were trying to shoehorn just the stormwater management to get it in there.
That parcel's like 2.5 acres, but the back part they weren't utilizing at all, but
Right.
it kind of goes into like a triangle. So really, they were only trying to utilize like just over an acre,
Yeah, we tried to push the
and
parking
they
to
were
the back.
putting everything in that small little envelope, and it just wasn't
It ain't
working
coming
with
back.
our regs. Yeah.
But it's
So-
not a great location on the roadway. We do understand that, but.
Yeah.
You know, now why DOH, I never really got into it with them. Like I said, we saw the original suggestions and then poof. So, but I don't think I just don't see it.
I think our biggest issue was the buffers, and we were more concerned with that, and we knew that that was going to be a hurdle that they had to overcome with us anyways. So if we had gotten to the point where DOH, we probably would have inquired a little bit more in depth as to why
Okay.
they didn't need
They
one,
were
but
so
we didn't get that far because we were, you know, looking at our own regs really.
Yeah, they were so short on parking that, I mean, we just didn't see it
Okay.
being overcome. I mean, if it did, then, you know, we can certainly revisit DOH's issue. Plus, under the county ordinance, I mean, we can ask for additional measures over and above. I can request that from you to, you know, be given, even if DOH did
What do you
request
say?
it.
Move to adjourn.
This gets about Richard's contract.
Okay, I have a motion,
This
Mr.
gets
Goff,
about
to
Richard's
adjourn.
contract.
Somebody please second.
Second by Ms. Norton to adjourn. All those in favor?
Or we can just get up and leave like
Yeah, we just get up and leave. That's our vote.
I get a phone call.
Danny.